Elegance is not a checklist. It's a whisper, a knowing, a pause before the purchase, a refusal to chase what never belonged. She walks into a room, not with noise, but with certainty, not with logos, but with lineage, of taste refined over years of becoming, and what she never wears says more than any accessory ever could. Let's begin here, with the one thing she has long since let go, fast fashion. Not because she can't afford it, but because she can afford to wait, to invest, to choose slowly, as if her closet is an archive, not a landfill. She knows that trends pass, but craftsmanship endures. So she reaches for timeless fabrics, natural fibers, a cut that flatters instead of screams, no shapeless sacks, no pants that strangle, no fabrics that shine only to dull. After one careless wash, she chooses structure, not stiffness, softness without slouch. She no longer wears clothes that fight her body, too tight, too baggy, too loud, too branded. Because her presence is the brand, her clothes are not costumes, they are companions, tailored to her tempo, her lifestyle, her truth. She avoids what tries too hard, loud prints, short skirts, overdone silhouettes, because she doesn't need to borrow anyone else's youth. She has her own glow, and it deepens, not fades. Even her colors are curated, no chaotic palettes, no mismatched tones, just hues that honor her skin, her spirit, her seasons of change. Every choice she makes speaks of intention, because true elegance doesn't scream, it selects. And with every quiet no to things that distract, she says a louder yes to herself, to the woman she's become, to the grace she wears, not just on her sleeves, but in her gaze, in her posture, in her presence. This is not about restriction, it is about refinement, about clearing away what no longer serves, to make space for what always did. The era of proving is over. Now she just is. And that is the most stylish thing of all. There is a silent language in the way clothes fit, a whisper of confidence, a quiet nod to grace. And high-class, elegant women know the power of just enough. They don't wear clothes that squeeze, suffocate, or shout. They don't wear pants that dig, or tops that cling to every worry. They also don't drown themselves in fabric so oversized that their beauty gets lost in the folds. Because elegance, real elegance, is about balance. She doesn't chase extremes. She finds the shape that honors hers. Let's start with what she avoids. Clothes that are too tight, not because she's ashamed of her body, but because she respects it. Too tight skirts that rise when she walks, blouses that tug at the seams, dresses that demand stillness, not freedom. No, she won't trade comfort for a fleeting illusion of youth. She knows that confidence comes not from fitting in, but from dressing well. So she chooses pieces that skim, not cling, that float, not squeeze. She embraces fabrics that move when she moves, jersey knits, silk blends, cotton that breathes. She knows the strength of a clean seam, a well-fitted shoulder, a waistline that flatters without shouting. And on the other side, she avoids the opposite mistake, clothes that are too loose, baggy pants that sag instead of flow, oversized tunics that swallow her shape, shapeless layers that hide her light. She's not hiding, she's not shrinking, she has nothing to prove and nothing to cover up. So she wears ease, yes, but also intent. She might pair a flowy blouse with crisp trousers, or a soft A-line dress with a cinched belt, because comfort doesn't mean careless, and elegance is never accidental. She pays attention to where the fabric falls, to how it moves with her breath, to how she feels when she sees herself in the mirror. Does she stand taller? Does she feel free? If yes, she's found the fit. No squeezing, no hiding, just honoring. Because after 50, your body doesn't need permission, it needs celebration. And the most elegant women do exactly that. with every blouse they button, every pant they zip, every dress they choose to live in. There's something unshakably elegant about restraint, not in silence, but in style. A woman walks in, and without a word, the room settles, not because of sparkle, not because of noise, but because she wears simplicity like a crown. High-class women over 50 don't wear chaos. They've outgrown it. They've edited their wardrobe the way a poet edits a line, until only the essence remains. Let's talk prints. Gone are the days of wild, dizzying patterns, giant flowers shouting across a blouse, zigzags that confuse more than flatter. She knows that a subtle print is more powerful than a loud one, a fine pinstripe, a soft floral, a brushstroke pattern that moves like water. These don't compete with her beauty, they complement it. Her rule is clear. If the print wears her, it doesn't belong. Now about color. She doesn't fear it, she embraces it. But wisely, she avoids colors that wash her out, that argue with her skin, that make her look like she's trying too hard to look young. Neon pink, electric green, not here. Instead, she chooses colors that glow, not scream. Think emerald, burgundy, midnight blue, soft sage, oyster gray, tones that whisper elegance and reflect light back into her eyes. And yes, she knows the three-color rule. No more than three hues in any one outfit, any more, and the story gets cluttered. She prefers clarity. Let's talk logos. She doesn't need a name brand printed across her chest to prove her worth. True elegance is never branded. It is sensed. It is felt. It lingers long after she's left the room, so she wears quality. In the stitching, in the feel of the fabric, in the quiet confidence of how it fits. Her style doesn't shout, it speaks. And most of all, she knows when to stop. She wears enough, not more. Enough sparkle to catch the light. Enough color to lift her spirit. Enough shape to frame her grace. Because less is not lack, it's precision, it's poise. It's the signature of a woman who knows who she is. A woman's grace often begins where her steps do, at her feet, in her shoes, in how she moves through the world. And elegant women over 50, they don't walk in pain. They don't wobble in heels too high for comfort. They glide, they ground, they arrive. Let's be honest. A shoe can make or break your entire silhouette. So what don't elegant women wear? Let's begin with the obvious. Sky-high heels that hurt more than they help. There's nothing graceful about grimacing, nothing poised about pinched toes and unsteady ankles. Instead, she chooses comfort with structure, a kitten heel, a sculpted wedge, a block heel that supports and still lifts. She doesn't need to tower. She just needs to stand fully, confidently, at ease in her own elegance. Next, she never wears worn-out shoes, no matter how expensive. The outfit above, if the shoes are scuffed, peeling, tired, the entire look falls apart. High-class women care for their shoes, the way they care for themselves, with attention, and when a pair has served its time, it's let go with grace. Flip-flops, only by the sea. Running shoes, only at the gym. When she wants casual, she reaches for leather loafers, soft ballet flats, sleek, low-profile sneakers in neutral hues. Because even ease can be elevated. She avoids outdated shoes, chunky platforms, from decades past, extremely pointed toes that stretch the foot like a caricature. She knows timeless shapes will always feel right, an almond toe, a soft square, a rounded silhouette that flatters without fuss. Even sparkle, used wrongly, can betray elegance. Sequined pumps on a Tuesday, shoes that dazzle but say nothing of intention, she passes. Instead, she lets subtle details speak. a suede finish, a small gold buckle, a whisper of texture, and most of all, she matches her shoes to the occasion. No hiking boots to brunch, no stilettos to the park. Elegance is not excess. It's not how many pieces you drape around your neck or how loudly they shine. True elegance whispers. And in the world of accessories, it whispers through restraint. Let's begin with one of the most tempting traps: too much jewelry. Earrings, necklace, bracelets, rings, all at once. It doesn't say style, it says noise. The elegant woman knows that each piece deserves its moment. Statement earrings, then skip the necklace. A bold ring, keep the wrists bare. She follows the rhythm of balance, of simplicity. Because when everything shouts, nothing is heard. She avoids cheap, tarnished jewelry. No green bands around fingers. No flaking gold or fading silver. She may not own much, but what she owns is chosen with care. A real pearl, a simple gold chain, a silver cuff that shines because it's polished and timeless. It's not about price, it's about presence. Then there's the handbag, not a tote big enough to carry regrets. Not a bag so loud it enters the room before she does. She doesn't wear bulky, logo-covered purses. Her bag is clean, structured, quietly luxurious. Maybe it's leather, worn in but not worn out. Maybe it's canvas, but with stitching that speaks of craft. It fits her life, not her insecurity. And what about sunglasses? She skips overly decorative frames. No neon lenses, no butterfly wings that drown the face. She chooses frames that fit her shape, that frame her eyes without overpowering them, because mystery is more elegant than masquerade. Belts? Yes. But not the ones that scream, "Look at me," not ones with gold plates. Larger than her confidence. A slim leather belt ties it all together, adds shape, not spectacle. And metal tones? She knows the danger of chaos. Gold, silver, rose. Yes, they can mix, but only with care. She chooses one to lead. The others may follow in quiet harmony. Because coordination is not rigidity, it's grace in choices made. Elegance isn't only sewn into fabrics and seams, it lives in the details of the face, in the way the hair moves, in how the skin glows from within. And just as she knows what not to wear, she knows what beauty habits to leave behind. First, she never clings to harsh, dark hair color. What once framed her face now fights it. Jet black, inky brown. They drain the light, highlight every line. She lets warmth return, soft browns, caramel, honey, silver. They soften, they shine, they harmonize with the season she's in, because beauty is not in denying age, it's in honoring it. She also lets go of that decades-old cut that no longer fits her story. The world has changed, so has her face. That tight perm, that rigid bob. They belong to a version of her that no longer speaks. She now chooses shape, movement, a soft fringe, a gentle wave. Her hair frames her life now, not just her face. And gone is the helmet of hairspray. No more stiff crowns or crunch at the touch. She wants hair that breathes, a volumizing mousse, a flexible mist, a texture spray that lets her laugh, step into wind, rest her head without resistance. Elegance is never brittle, it flows. So must her hair. She never neglects the regular trim, not for style alone, but to let go of what's split, what's tired, what no longer serves. Even hair deserves closure. And her makeup? It's never heavy, never a mask. Gone are the days of cakey foundations, harsh liners, colors that enter before she does. Now, she wears light, she wears breath. A tinted moisturizer, a flush of rose, a brow that whispers, I'm still here. She lets her lips speak, not shout. Soft coral, muted berry, a balm with color, not a scream in red. And behind it all, she knows this secret. Skin care comes first. No concealer can mimic a rested face. No powder can replace hydration. So she drinks her water. She layers her creams. She shields with SPF, not to fight the sun, but to respect the years. She enters the room not in silence, but in confidence. It's not the dress that announces her. It's the sound of grace in every step, because an elegant woman knows style begins from the ground up, and so there are shoes she never wears again. First, excessively high heels, the ones that look stunning but steal her balance. She's done choosing pain for approval. Wobbling in discomfort is not chic. Now, she walks taller in kitten heels, block heels, low wedges. Supportive, secure, still undeniably elegant. She knows comfort is not the enemy of beauty. It's the foundation of it. Second, she never wears worn-out shoes, peeling soles, scuffed toes, leather that's lost its luster. They whisper neglect. They steal from the polish of everything above them. She polishes, repairs, replaces, as needed, because care is a form of self-respect. Third, she doesn't wear flip-flops to the market, or the cafe, or the sidewalk. Those belong to sand, to waves, to lazy days by water, not city streets. She chooses flats that speak of intention, leather loafers, slingback sandals, ballet flats with a bow, easy, not careless. Fourth, she avoids overly sporty sneakers, chunky soles, neon details, shoes built for marathons, worn to museums. They shout when she prefers to glide. A sleek white sneaker, a neutral slip-on, a soft leather pair. They carry her through life's errands without clashing with her elegance. Fifth, she no longer wears outdated comfort shoes. Those clunky soles, those bulky straps that scream, I've given up. No, she finds the brands that blend support with style. Because age doesn't mean she stops walking beautifully. And sixth, she avoids over-embellished shoes, too much sparkle, too many gems, takes attention in the wrong direction. She doesn't need noise to be noticed. She doesn't need sparkle to shine. Her elegance is in the edit, in the space she leaves between the pieces. Because a refined woman knows this truth. The loudest part of an outfit should never be the accessories, so she chooses with care. First, she avoids wearing too much at once. The layered bangles, the chandelier earrings, the statement necklace, all competing on the same stage. She knows, let one piece speak, and let the rest hold space for silence. If it's earrings, she skips the necklace. If it's a ring, she keeps the wrists bare. Elegance is not in quantity, it's in intention. Second, she never wears tarnished jewelry. No green chains, no cloudy gems, no fading gold. Even costume jewelry can be refined when it's cared for. A pearl that shines, a pendant that's polished, a bracelet that still holds its quiet gleam. She invests in a few good pieces, real gold, freshwater pearls, delicate silver, not a drawer full of disappointment. Third, she avoids overly large handbags, the kind that slouch, overwhelm, or shout a brand name louder than her own. She doesn't need to prove value with labels. Instead, she carries a bag that holds its shape, a structure, a silhouette, leather that feels like legacy, zippers that glide like intention, colors that go with everything, camel, navy, ivory, black. Fourth, she skips outdated sunglasses. Neon frames, butterfly wings, or novelty hearts have their place. And it's not on a woman who knows who she is. She finds her shape, square, oval, cat eye, and wears it like armor made of glass. Neutral frames, tortoise shell, soft black. They don't scream, I'm trendy. They whisper, I'm timeless. Fifth, she never mismatches too many metals. Gold here, silver there, copper in between. It's a visual stutter in an otherwise smooth line. A refined woman knows. Her elegance doesn't end at the collar. It continues upward, in every strand, every soft line, every quiet detail on her face. Because beauty is not youth. It's care. It's awareness. It's knowing what no longer serves and choosing what lets her shine. First, she avoids harsh, dark hair color. Jet black, that once felt powerful now feels like armor, too heavy for her softness. Her skin has changed. It craves warmth, light, dimension. So she chooses chestnut over charcoal, caramel over coal, silver even. When worn with confidence, becomes her crown. She doesn't fear gray. She honors it because it whispers wisdom in the most elegant voice. Second, she lets go of outdated hairstyles. What flattered her face at 30 may not frame it at 60. So she updates soft layers that move with the breeze, a sleek bob that hugs the jaw, or a pixie that speaks volumes with simplicity. No stiff beehives, no oversprayed helmets. She wants movement. She wants air. She wants hair that says, I am free. Third, she says goodbye to heavy hairspray. Gone are the days of freezing her strands in place. She now chooses volume that feels natural. Lift at the roots, softness at the ends, texture, not tension. Her hair is styled, not sculpted. It lives, it breathes, and so does she. Fourth, she doesn't neglect regular trims, dry ends, split strands, a shape that's lost its meaning. These are not part of her story. Every 6 weeks, she sits in the chair, not for vanity, for care, because polished hair tells the world. I respect myself enough to tend to the little things. Fifth, she avoids overly dramatic makeup. No contouring that carves her face into something it's not. No foundation that masks the glow beneath. Instead, she embraces soft neutrals, dewy skin, blush that mimics a walk in the sun, eyeshadow in shades of taupe, rose, bronze, never electric blue, lipsticks that flatter, not shock. There is something you cannot buy, cannot sew, cannot smooth onto your skin with cream or powder. It's how you carry yourself. The tilt of your chin, the way your shoulders rest, not clenched, but calm. True elegance begins long before the lipstick, long after the hemline. It lives in posture, in presence, in the quiet confidence of knowing you belong, wherever you walk in. So what do high-class women over 50 never wear? They never wear slouched shoulders, because no matter the dress, if your frame folds inward, you disappear. But when your spine rises like a stem, you bloom. They never wear a hurried gait, not that frantic shuffle of chasing time. They walk as if time waits for them, each step measured, grounded, alive, because grace is in the pacing. They never wear eyes to the ground, because the world is not beneath them, it's around them, and they meet it with gaze, not avoidance. They don't avoid mirrors. They don't shrink from photographs. They don't apologize for being seen. They never wear a voice too small for their presence. High-class women speak not to dominate, but to resonate. They choose words with care, tone with warmth, volume with intention, and in silence they are still heard. They never wear desperation to be liked, because when you know your worth, you don't perform to earn approval. You exist as you are, no need for noise. Elegance is self-assurance in motion. They never wear bitterness. They've lived through heartbreak, loss, injustice, but they wear resilience, like satin over steel. They never wear jealousy of younger women, because they were that once. And now they are something even rarer, a woman who knows herself, who honors every chapter, every wrinkle earned in laughter, every line etched by time. So what do they wear instead? Poise, like a pearl necklace? Grace, like a tailored coat, a soft smile, like the perfect shade of rose. They wear silence when words aren't needed. They Elegance is not built in a day. It is sculpted, one decision at a time. And just as much as it's about what you choose to wear, it's about what you choose to never wear again. You see, a high-class woman over 50 knows the value of subtraction. She edits, she releases, she lets go of fabrics that scratch, of heels that hurt, of trends that scream when she only wants to speak softly. She has learned that confidence does not come from a brand name etched in gold, but from self-worth etched in time. She no longer wears the weight of expectations, the costume of approval, the mask of pretending to be smaller than she is. She says no to what no longer fits, not just on her body, but in her soul. She says no to clothing that erases her, to beauty routines that hide her, to language that minimizes her. She doesn't shrink to fit the room. She expands it with presence, with silence, with kindness that stands taller than any heel. She never wears desperation or noise, or the need to compete. She wears joy, depth, discernment. And when she walks into the boutique, or the meeting, or the evening air, she doesn't ask, "Will they notice me?" She asks, "Do I recognize myself?" Because the most elegant women aren't trying to look younger. They're trying to feel like themselves again, to dress in ways that free their energy, that reflect the woman who has emerged from the fire of decades and still smiles. So let this be your new wardrobe mantra. I will not wear what burdens me. I will not wear what dims me. I will not wear what was never made for who I am now. Because style is not about standing still in a time capsule. It's about standing in your truth and saying, with every color, cut, and choice, I've arrived. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are refined, radiant, and rising. So the next time you stand before your closet, don't ask, what will make me look better? Ask, what will make me feel more like me? That is the essence of high-class style. That is the wardrobe of the woman who knows herself. And that, my dear, is where your elegance begins.